A recent report in the New Republic shows that most of the handpicked and, of course, Trump-endorsed candidates in this year's primary races are really doing bad. And let's be fair for a second here. Donald Trump's candidates that he endorsed in the recent Texas primaries, they won, right? Technically a clean sweep for Donald Trump, with, of course, the exception of the Attorney General race, which is now between Jeb Bush and Ken Paxton on the Republican side. They have to go to a runoff because it was so close. So Trump still has the chance to lose that one. And after all, I hope Texas voters remember Ken Paxton is already under indictment and awaiting trial. So, I don't know, probably not the best guy to have being the top law enforcement officer of your state, but you do you, Texas. Who am I to judge? I'm judging you very harshly. But aside from Texas, Donald Trump's personally endorsed candidates are doing horrible across the board. And without getting sucked into, too much of the details, we're talking about candidates in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Alabama, Alaska, Missouri, and I think that's it for now. Oh, North Carolina too. Sorry, North Carolina, where his endorsed candidate Ted Budd is doing horribly. Ted Budd actually was doing decent until Trump endorsed him, and then actually at that point, Budd started raising less money and his poll numbers fell by 5 points. That happened immediately following the Donald Trump endorsement because, as I have explained time and time again, and I hope I get to keep explaining it to these right-wingers out there, Donald Trump's endorsement is in fact a kiss of death. Sure, some of the people Trump has endorsed have won. Most of them do not. And I'm not lying when I say most of them do not. More than 50% of the people that Donald Trump has personally come out and endorsed since he entered politics have lost their elections. More than 50%. That is a phenomenally pathetic success rate for a man who actually got to play president of the United States for 4 years. And as I mentioned, in Georgia, I will talk about a couple of these. Georgia, David Perdue. That is who Donald Trump has picked to run against Brian Kemp in the Republican primary. And after Perdue lost his Senate seat in the runoffs last year, he's not doing well against Brian Kemp either because most Republicans in the state like Brian Kemp. So they're not willing to go with this unknown loser who may not stand a chance against Stacey Abrams. Kemp already beat Stacey Abrams one time, albeit because he was Secretary of State at the time and got to purge about 100,000 people off the voting rolls, which certainly was enough to swing that election, but that's neither here nor there, right? So Perdue's screwing himself up. Pennsylvania is an even bigger embarrassment for him, right? Because he had endorsed Sean Parnell. And then, if you remember the stories we did on Sean Parnell here and over at Ring of Fire, he kind of had to suspend his campaign, because of horrible activities that I'm not going to mention again that had reemerged from his past that are actually still pending for his future. So yeah, that candidate had to suspend his campaign, and Trump has not come out and endorsed another candidate in that race yet. So the bottom line is, if you're running for office, don't get Trump's endorsement. It does not help you. Statistically, it's going to harm you. Again, just ask Bud up in North Carolina. He was doing great. He was winning the damn primary race. And then Trump came along and, well, now he's not winning. In fact, I think he's losing. The latest polls I saw 11% after being ahead. So yeah, Donald Trump's endorsement is in fact a kiss of death. And the statistics prove that. They've actually done reports on it, looking at every single person Trump has endorsed. And every time he does it, their chances of winning fall below 50%. That is how toxic he is. That is how toxic his brand is. And if you are unfortunate enough to get that brand on you, and I'm talking about like a cattle brand, then best of luck, because it most likely means you're going to lose your race. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel, We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.